You're now tuned in to the Cold Hard Truth, Cayman's #1 hard-hitting live podcast show, where we feature some straightforward conversations on political, social, and celebrity news and all things happening in the Cayman Islands and around the world. This show was created to give the people a voice and a means of being involved and informed without any filters. Sometimes it gets crazy, but we always keep it real. We bring you the tea, piping hot, so grab your favorite beverage and join the conversation via WhatsApp at 324-1612. Email tips at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Now, here's your host, Sandy Hill, broadcasting live from the beautiful Cayman Islands.
Good morning, folks. Happy Friday. Good morning, Miss Morna. It is Fab Friday. In case you missed it, we're right here for it. What's going on? I'm sorry I'm running a little bit late. I'm going to tell you why in a second. And, some mornings you've got kids, you got to get them out and about, out the door. And so that took a little bit longer. Good morning, Miss Janet. So nice to see you. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. So there's a lot that's going on. I just need to pull up a few little messages here. Super excited that today is Friday. And can I tell you? Let me just see here. Yes, somebody says we're waiting on you to get on air. My apologies. I know. But listen, today, as you know, well, tomorrow is actually technically Halloween, right? So as parents of little ones, you have to engage in such things as Halloween. So Miss Gigi is a princess today. And I'm going to pull up a little picture of her princess outfit. She was so excited. So you guys know right now we're in the middle of COVID. And even though Cayman is doing relatively well, we've not had any disastrous situations here. We've gotten COVID largely under control. We only have the one death that was imported in. And so we have a lot to be thankful for. But for children, especially younger children, they don't always understand, what's going on. So you've got to just keep things as normal as possible for them. And I got to tell you, we're trying our best as parents to do that for my daughter. And she was really, really excited about Halloween because she loves to dress up. The concept and idea of dressing up is like so much fun for her. So last year she was 3 and she started to kind of get into Halloween. What was she last year? Last year she was, oh gosh, I can't even remember what she dressed as last year. But anyway, this year she was really wanting to be a princess. No, last year she was a witch. So imagine we go from being a witch to being a princess, but hey. So she really wanted to be a princess this year. So I thought, okay, no problem. And so we went out of our way to get the costume. Now, this is where I want to say, listen, a lot of us are stressed out with a lot of these courier companies not doing the best job. Everybody's complaining about DHL. UPS sounds like a nightmare. I have actually been using Aeropost to bring in my items, and thank the Lord, I haven't had any issues to speak of. They have everything online. They have an online system. One of these days, we're going to bring Eric on here to talk about the system that they have in place. It's super easy. You can track all your stuff online. You see where your items are at. You can go and upload your receipts. So in advance, and that helps with, getting everything cleared as quickly as possible through customs. Because right now I keep hearing from everybody that customs is a big holdup, right? But if you've got everything ready, Amazon makes it easy. You get the tracking number, you get the receipt, and I just save the receipt as a PDF, upload it, boom, I'm done. And I just wait for my items to come. And they do package consolidation as well. So big shout out to Aeropost this morning. Thanks to them. Gigi had her costume well in advance because you got to plan ahead. So I had another parent asking me on Tuesday, do you have all of your stuff sorted out for Christmas? And I said, listen, it's going to be a little bit of a low-key Christmas. But again, we don't want the kids to suffer and thinking, we can't even have a Christmas tree because of COVID. Everything's happened because of COVID, right? So my little daughter, she understands that something is going on. And then certain times she'll ask a question, oh, is that because of COVID? So I try not to make everything because of COVID. There has to be a sense of normalcy that we maintain. So yes, we ordered her early. She's had the Halloween costume. Of course, when they're that old, don't let them know where the costume is or anything, because they're going to want to put it on the second it arrives, right? So it's going to be the same thing with Christmas. I'm already thinking, okay, what little items am I going to get her for Christmas? And I'm going to pre-order them, hide them somewhere, and then, you play Santa. So good morning to Siobhan. Richie is here for it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hello, Miss Alice. Happy Friday. Marshall from North Carolina. Tracy from Jamaica. Thank you, guys. Larry from New York. Brandon from Grand Cayman. Evelyn from Savannah, Newlands, Cayman area. Miss Joy is here for it. Bonnie, Debbie, Olivia, and of course, Miss Sue. So thank you guys so much for making this your morning show spot. I want to show you her costume. Check out the princess. Look at little Miss Princess. That's her in her Halloween costume. So the costume came with, she's got her tiara. It came with her, it has little earrings as well, but she doesn't have, she said they were hurting her a little bit, like they're just a little clip-on ones, and she's really not used to anything being on her ears. We've decided that we're not going to pierce her ears until she's older and she can be involved in the process. So I know a lot of parents will pierce children's ears from when they are babies, and we decided we were not going to do that. So the outfit came with gloves, which are too big, of course, but for the sake of the outfit, we still put them on. And the dress, I must say, fit pretty well because she is tiny for her age. I mean, she was a preemie, as many of you know. She was only 4 pounds, 1 ounce. And so she's still very little. I think in pictures, she always looked bigger than she is. But even now, as a 4-year-old, I can put on 18-month-old shorts on her and they're still falling off. So it depends on what it is. If it's like spandex, where it has like, it'll snap in, because it's that spandex material, she can wear those. And I think her height is probably about average for a 4-year-old. But because she's so tiny otherwise, even sometimes you put on a 4T and it's literally just, pants just fall off. But we need it for the length. So we kind of have to get creative. But I took my chances with this dress and it actually fits. This is like the perfect size. It's hard sometimes to gauge when it's online. But yes, it came with the gloves, the tiara. She's got a little necklace. It came with the little earrings. It's like a whole little set. She already had her Frozen shoes, so we didn't have to buy any shoes, thank goodness. So those are her little Frozen shoes that she has on. So yes, the princess was ready to go. And they're having a little Halloween party at her school, which I think a lot of the like kindergartens and daycare centers have something today that's going on. So even if we don't get out tomorrow to go trick-or-treating, I mean, that's still a little bit up in the air about what the plans will be in terms of that, because so many places have canceled that we probably would have gone to, that we might just play it by ear. But she's got a sweet tooth, folks. So we don't want her to have too many sweets in the bag, if you know what I mean. Good morning, Miss Joy. Oh, you missed us yesterday. Yes, we had actually 2 fabulous shows yesterday, I must say. Very different energy, and that's what it is. So we had the morning show. And by the way, Miss Joy, I need to actually call you after the show because I should have been by your office yesterday morning, but I didn't realize that the timing was in the morning. And of course, I had a guest already booked. So there was that little issue. Yeah. So I'll call you after the show because I think you might know what I'm going to be calling you about. Some exciting news going on there over by Miss Joy. So Tracy says, I think after Halloween, you have to hide it because she's going to want to wear it even to school. She is adorable now. She's going to say, Mom, I want to be a princess for dress down day. Yes, child, I know. I know how this goes already. Every day it's going to be, I want to wear my princess outfit. But she's getting a little bit easier to deal with in terms of explaining certain things to her with, the outfits and stuff like that. Although every day if she could wear these little pumps, these are like little dress shoes or frozen shoes, she wants to wear those to school every single day. And I say to her, no, because, you're going to go outside and play in the dirt and sand and whatever. And they're not really appropriate for that, but she doesn't get that quite yet. She's like, I want to wear them anyway. So yeah, so that's little Miss Gigi. She is all ready for Halloween, had a little Halloween party today. She's all glammed up. Yes, Miss Joy, I will do. Trying to see if I can arrange to pop over by you today. So I've got court this morning. So that's another situation that I've got to get ready for. So, court starts at 10 o'clock. I'm actually following a couple of cases as well as I've got court for myself. And, I like to keep you guys in the know. Although every time I update you, the prosecution claims that, I don't know, she wants to make it a thing. But this is a new case, folks, where we did a podcast show and the person complained to the police. And so now the police and the DPP's office seems to think that every time we do a show that someone doesn't like, it somehow amounts to harassment. I've elected this time to go with a jury trial, and I will be handling the case myself. Because the last time with that particular lawyer was such a fiasco, I couldn't have done a worse job. So I might as well do it myself. Right. So I'll keep you guys updated on all of those things. And the usual. I know that she'll show up today asking for a gag order to be put in place because they never want the truth to be shared with the people until it's too late. And especially if it's going to be a jury trial, they will definitely argue that I can't talk about this case at all because we do not want to prejudice the jury. And I would have no interest in prejudicing the jury, of course. Thank you, my dear. Yeah, I thought it was a beautiful little dress. You find these things on Amazon and you never know in terms of the quality. The dress seems to be decent quality. The little jewelry stuff, she's going to wear that once or twice, no big deal. One of the little pieces of the what would that be? What that would be a sapphire? No. What stone would that be? Well, whatever it is. It kind of came off this morning. Daddy had to try to glue it back on. But yeah, I thought it was all right. So guess what? I've got some fantastic news. You guys are not going to believe this, but I can now sleep easier at night because guess what happened this morning? So everybody got up, started getting ready. I went and had my shower. Miss Gigi was still napping. I'm like, okay, princess, time to get up, brush your teeth, get ready. I was actually in the kitchen sorting out her lunch. And my husband comes in and he's like, oh, wow. And when you hear him say that, he doesn't say wow about anything. He's a very calm and cool and collected kind of guy. So I'm thinking, what is it? And I saw him looking at the floor and I'm like, oh, did you find the snake? And he's like, yes, OMG. Folks, we have found, well, the snake found us, I should say. Where's my button?
Praise the Lord.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, I want to jump for joy this morning. The snake has been found. You guys remember, it was, when was it? I think it's well over a week now. Hold on. Let me try to remember exactly when this was. So the snake went missing this is like 2 weeks ago. So the snake went missing on the 13th. Yes. So over 2 weeks, he shows up. And thank God I didn't see him first. Although where he was, I was just on that side of the kitchen. I just like walked around. So I'm thinking I probably almost stepped on the snake and did not even see him. Like seriously. The good news is he was still in the area where he pretty much got lost in the kitchen because he was on the kitchen counter in a little thing. And he didn't go very far. So that means that he must have been probably in a cupboard or a drawer somewhere. Oh my God. Imagine the heart attack I would have had. And I kept like every time I'd open a drawer, I'd be like, open it slowly and kind of be like, where is this snake? But over the past week, I've kind of forgotten about him. I haven't been really conscious. So he would have definitely given me a heart attack, people, because I would have opened that and be like, ah! So all I can tell you is, my goodness, I am just absolutely happy. I feel like I need a hallelujah button as well. Yes, that is the most amazing news I got this morning. I was so happy. So I said to my husband, he went and got the container he was originally in, and he picked him up, snake still alive, he ain't dead. And he put him in the little, whatchamacallit, in the bowl. And I said, take him outside right now. Don't even let Gigi know that you found the snake. Like she was putting on her shoes by the front door. And so I'm like, zip it, take him out the back door and let him go. Because of course, if she hears that we found the snake, she's going to want to keep him. There's going to be tears and waterfalls. I want to keep the snake. No. So she's forgotten about him, right? Every once in a while, she'll mention, oh, the snake got away. You know what? Thankfully, he was alive because I don't want to be responsible for killing any snakes or anything else. Once they stay outside, we're good. I don't want a snake in my house. And I don't think that you should take certain things in your house. And I keep trying to get this message through to my husband. But, he's a country boy at heart from St. Mary. So God knows he likes these critters every once in a while. And, as boys, I guess they grew up with snakes and I don't know what else. So, yeah, I'm like, keep them outside. Let her appreciate nature and the environment from the outside. Don't bring it in my house. So thank you guys so much. I know a lot of you were kind of curious as to whatever happened to the snake. And there you go. He's back outside. Hopefully, I'm sure he came out because he was hungry. That poor snake has probably had nothing to eat in the past 2 weeks. Because what do we have in here that he's going to be eating? Maybe a lizard, if he could find it. I'm not sure. So I'm very, very happy about that. So this is truly a Fab Friday, folks. All tons of good news. What about yesterday's water spout? Now, everybody in Cayman saw this water spout, but I'm going to pick the most amazing picture because I want you guys to see this. We picked this up. Let me just see here. Let me just see where this photo is. So David McGibbon took this photo. And, we saw a lot of video. We saw tons of photos. But Irvin says that they'll eat ants on the floor. Well, I never see any ants up in here, so I don't know how much of those he might have been getting. But yes, let me just show you this picture because we had a lot of really amazing photos and video, but I thought this one really took the cake. Good morning, Miss Barbara. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful, right? So this had everybody messaging me yesterday early afternoon because people saw it. It was visible from all over the island. So thank you so much, David. I don't know if David is a professional photographer, but he seems to take a lot of amazing photos, like all the time. And sometimes he will share some of those with us. Him and his crew had actually gotten some footage of, remember when the dolphins, not the dolphins, the orca whales were out and about, David actually got some footage of that as well, some video footage. So I kind of feel like he's always out in the perfect place, out in nature to capture these things. So I'm not sure if David's a photographer, but I tell you what, these pictures are truly amazing. I'm going to show you one more that he has up that is definitely picture of the day. Look at this one. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, I mean, this is so pristine and so beautiful. You know, at the end of the day, this is our home. And I feel like we have to do everything in our power to maintain the balance. Like, I get we rely on tourism, but the truth of the matter is tourism takes a real toll on our environment. So when I see a photo like this, it reminds me of so much that we have to be thankful for. The clean air, the relatively clean ocean. And, you know, we have to do everything in our power to keep it that way. I mean, this is just gorgeous. Now, some people were grabbing the photo off of Facebook and trying to claim it as their own. And I can tell you that David is definitely the author or the photographer in this case. Now, you guys remember, so thank you, David. Actually, give me one quick second. I'm going to leave this photo up here. I'm going to grab some water because I forgot to grab my water in the rush this morning. Let me grab some water, and then I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what else has been going on, including some good news. So hold on one quick second. I'll be right back. All right, folks, thank you so much for your patience. I am back. Yes, Miss Beulah. Miss Sue says that photo should be framed. And Miss Beulah says that is so beautiful. Breathtaking. Marshall, this is a beautiful photo. So you guys remember that last week we mentioned that there was a fire incident. That was actually on Monday at the RCIPS office. And so lo and behold, the RCIPS has confirmed that they are investigating this as a crime. What? So yes, this looks like, based on what they're saying, I mean, the only fire crime I think really that exists is arson, right? So someone may have purposely set the business unit office of the RCIPS on fire. I thought to myself, that is crazy. Who would do that? Not only who would do that, but why? I mean, what's the purpose of doing that? So of course, people are speculating. There are some people who are wondering if it was like an inside job. You know, people are going to talk. Is this an issue of people not wanting to produce certain documents for court or whatever. In other words, officers of the law. My God, I would hope that no police officers have done that, because that would be shocking. But yes, they are treating it as a criminal investigation. So we'll see. I'm hoping that the RCIPS has, what would you call it now? That they actually have cameras in that building. I mean, that would make sense, right? So they say the fire is being treated as a criminal act of arson and is being investigated by the RCIPS CID. So that's the Criminal Investigation Division. And anyone with any information or who may have witnessed the incident is asked to contact the major incident room at 649-2930. Wow. That's pretty amazing. Hello, Larry. You added on to the name today. It's not Cassandra. It's only Sandra or Sandy. So Marshall, he has some ideas here, and he thinks that it's an inside job. It was on the second floor, and I don't think the public at large have access to that area. Well, I mean, they could walk up the steps, but it depends on where the fire started. It seems like the fire started from the inside for sure. So if it started from the inside, the question then becomes, who would have had access to the inside of the business unit, the RCIPS Business Center office at 9 o'clock at night? So yeah, that's what makes me believe, Marshall, that this is probably an inside job. Or who else has access? The cleaners? Why would they do it? So you know what they say in law when you're a detective, and we all want to be amateur detectives at times? Motive and opportunity. So who would have a motive and who would have an opportunity? Well, I would start with opportunity, because in all honesty, there couldn't have been that many people that would have had access to the building, not just the building, but on the inside of this unit. So that's a bit of a shocker. So we'll keep an eye on that situation, and I'll let you guys know if anything else comes out of that investigation. Speaking of investigation, a couple days ago, we mentioned that these individuals had gone into Cayman Bay and went to several stores and were involved in a shoplifting incident caught on camera. And this picture is pretty clear. And like I said earlier in the week, if you know these people, I think these are actually pretty good pictures. You'd be able to identify them relatively easily. And so we have a development in this story. And the development is they've finally been arrested. So here's the odd thing about this particular incident. This is so incredibly strange. But the police received the report of the incident as it happened. They were given CCTV footage, witness statements or victim statements, the whole 9 yards, and nothing was done about it. So really and truly, the only reason that we posted this story is because nothing was done about it. So October 26th, the story went up. This to me is an open and shut case. You got video evidence, which is pretty clear. The video is even clearer than these photos, because the photos are like extracted from the videos, right? Cayman Bay has all sorts of cameras all over the place. So they know that the trio were walking around Cayman Bay from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. on October the 16th. They thought they were smart in their techniques. We've got video we're going to show you guys a little bit later on. And so I don't know why the police had not... I'm sorry, Larry. Larry saw his sister-in-law in here and was saying hi to her. My apologies, Larry. I did not know that. Right, of course. I did not know that Cassandra was actually watching. I'm sorry, Larry. I'm like, why does Larry call me Cassandra? Okay, gotcha, Larry. No worries. So yes, these individuals have now been arrested. So shame on the RCIPS. Why did it take a CMR story for these people to get arrested 2 weeks later? And the second the CMR story went up on the 26th, by the 29th, they were arrested. Okay. So I can confirm that David McGibbon actually isn't a photographer. He just seems to take pretty good pictures. And they're all taken with his phone, by the way. I want to know what kind of phone he has. Okay, so we will be updating that story a bit later on the website, so stay tuned. We've got more pictures and video footage, I should say, more appropriately, of the three of them. And they think they're smart. You know, you see criminals come into your shop. One of the things that criminals do is they try to distract the sales staff. So in this case, all three of them came in and they went like in three different directions. You know, sometimes they'll pretend to need help with one product to have one person occupied while the others are elsewhere in the store stealing. And as far as I know, these individuals are Caymanians. Now, I don't know them, and you know, we've got some names. We're waiting on the last name of one more of the individuals. Apparently, the two women, I understand, are sisters. So it's kind of disappointing. A lot of people are thinking that, oh, they're not Caymanians, they're from somewhere else. Well, folks, we have our own homegrown criminals right here in the Cayman Islands. I'm not going to deny that. In fact, we have festered and grown a whole generation of wannabe gangsters and all sorts of stuff. So shoplifters, of course, we've got shoplifters that are Caymanian. It's disgusting. And it really makes me ashamed to know that these people during a time like this, especially, but anytime, it doesn't really matter, would dare to go into business. Businesses, retail businesses are suffering. I don't care where you think they are suffering. And, you know, why do this? Why do this? Giving us all a bad name. Seriously. So they've been arrested. We expect for them to be charged in due course. Like I said, to me, this seems like a pretty open and shut case. If they're smart, they will just admit to it. But now, you know, their photos have been blasted all over. They're unlikely to get a job. I saw someone commenting on the original post that we had put up about them, about how CMR is such a hater. We're always hating on Caymanians. I'm like, Lord, seriously? And it's not true. And they didn't do anything wrong. You know, the foolish rhetoric. So, let me just see here. I'll show you one of the messages that someone actually put up. And I mean, they're not very smart, I must say. Like, seriously. So let me just show this picture here. So there was this one individual, you know, everybody's like, no, that's not true. That's fake news. Folks, it's not fake news just because you don't like it. So here we go. I don't know who Abby McCoy is, but Abby McCoy says, fake news. Waimala Road love low down young Caymanians career girls are innocent. let me read the full thing before I address it. Because seriously, whoever this Abby McCoy is, she must be on drugs. Girls are innocent. Stop shaming people, children, and making their career. She can't spell to save her life. Look bad. This need to stop. Get the story straight. But who God bless, no man curse. Can't spell curse either. Try take down these fake photos. Shaking my head. So Abby, I don't know who you are. I guess you're one of their friends. But we can assure you that there's nothing fake about the photos. We will be showing you the video footage and a story that we will update later on today, just in case Abby needs additional edits. And I'm curious, what career exactly do these young women have? Shoplifting is not a career. Being a criminal is not a legit career. And Abby, I would encourage you, if you want to use big words like career, try to know how to spell it. Okay. So as far as this thinking goes that we are bringing down Caymanians, we don't bring anybody down. We report the news, all of the news. Like Marshall said, maybe the RCIPS just need a little bit of nudge in the right direction to do their jobs. If that's what it takes, reporting on an incident, then that's what it is. We are community news. So if you have a story of interest, we give you a voice to be able to get your story out there. And a lot of people have misconceptions really about, oh, well, if you have a store in Cayman Bay, that means that you're loaded with money and you can afford to have shoplifters come through your business stealing from you. Well, that's ridiculous. And nothing could be farther from the truth. So Abby, stay tuned. We'll make sure that you see the story with the video footage of them putting stuff in their handbags that they did not pay for and that does not belong to them. And then I want you to tell me how it's fake news. But you know what is fake? This account is fake. So this Abby McCoy, notice how she spells her name, Macoy, has set up an account just to go and comment on that post. And a lot of people do that on Facebook. And I don't take anybody seriously who can't even stand by a comment that they're going to make. If you claim this is fake news and you have a comment to make, then by all means, identify yourself. What kind of idiot would be saying that this is fake news and, these criminals are having their career ruined? To me, that's just ridiculous. And they always want, oh, she's trying to bring down Caymanians. Really? Folks, I'm a Caymanian. What would I gain from bringing down Caymanians? Nothing. It makes me ashamed to see people like this who are bringing us all down, who are causing us all reputational damage. Because yes, people will judge us based on the actions of other people. So I'm not impressed by this. Right? It doesn't bring me any comfort seeing Caymanians involved in all sorts of shenanigans. It's a disgrace, actually. The other thing that, but it's so funny though, I got to tell you, every single time we do a story on someone, we say, okay, this person's from Honduras, from Cayman, from West Bay, whatever. Everyone wants to claim that, oh my gosh, Sandra doesn't like Jamaicans. She doesn't like, I'm like, hold on a second now. If we listen to that kind of logic and rhetoric, I don't like Caymanians. I don't like Jamaicans. I don't like people from Honduras. I don't like Americans. I don't like English people. I don't like people from Timbuktu. I don't like people from, I don't know where else in the world. It's like, well, who do I supposedly like? Nobody. But that's a way to deflect from the real issues, right? There are issues, folks, that impact all of us as a community. Sometimes those issues are very much connected to who we are in different sectors. So Caymanians might be engaged in certain activity more than others. That could be very true. And so when we report it, my apologies, people kind of have this idea that they don't want it reported because they don't like to be shunned on illegal activity or just people in their wrongdoing. So the easiest way for people to respond to that is to say, oh, she just doesn't like a whole group of people. So you then try to say she's, a racist or anti this nationality or that nationality. And somehow that's going to allow people to ignore the issues. So let me put it this way. Yes, I agree, Marshall. She's either related to these individuals or she could be one of the individuals since it's a fake account. I don't care who you are, and I don't care where you're from. I don't care who your mama is, who your papa might be. I don't care how much money you have, how much money you don't have. I don't care if you're black, white, in between, Chinese, Filipino. It doesn't matter to me. None of those things matter when we sit down and expose the underbelly of the Cayman Islands. Your actions are what matter. The fact that you have the nerve to go into somebody's store and steal from them is theft, right? Says a lot about you and your character and the type of person you are. And to be quite honest, these people really have some nerve. I mean, they got more nerve than a bad toothache. Because they're going to go into a really nice store in Cayman Bay and try shenanigans like this? Really? I mean, you shouldn't shoplift anywhere. But I'm just saying, them people got cameras. And not only do they have cameras, but they have top of the line cameras. And not only do the individual stores have cameras, the complex has cameras as well. So they were able to see the second you entered Cayman Bay at 1 o'clock and that you spent 4 hours. When was the last time I went to Cayman Bay and spent 4 hours? It's only because you're sitting down eating a meal. Do you spend that kind of time at Cayman Bay? You don't need to spend 4 hours walking in and out of stores unless you're up to no good. Trust me, I ain't got that kind of money. I walk in, I'm like, $20, I'll take that. I'm done. Money finished. Bunch of criminals. Atlas, good morning. He says, I'm late. Write up my attendance report. Better late than never, my friend. You're here for it. I know, right, Karen? Karen says, if you're going to blast CMR, please have your responses vetted and proofread by someone who knows how to articulate themselves properly, please. Because Sandra going to chew you up. Now, I don't always make fun of people who make spelling errors because God knows when you have to write every day, sometimes we type in fast, we get something wrong, we use the wrong word or wrong tense or whatever. These things happen, but Karen, it is quite obvious that this person is just an ignorant individual on more levels than one because they use the word career twice and they spelled it 2 different ways in that one post, in that one comment. So yeah, they definitely need to probably have paid more attention in school instead of learning how to steal from people. I suspect that what is really going on here. Good morning, Louis from Detroit. Big up yourself. Louis says TGIF. Absolutely. Good morning, Senor Ramsey. Melita's here for it. Lizette says, you don't like as well Nowarians. Buenos dias, Lizette. ¿Cómo estás? Yes, blessings to you as well. Thank you, Cece. You got that right. I just don't care. It don't make no difference where you're from. Oh, what a hot mess. You know, I always say this. Sometimes we all screw up and we do things and we make poor decisions. But really what distinguishes you in the end is just being able to say, you know what? I screwed up. And I have to take accountability for that. I have to take responsibility for that. Yes, I'm on Mall Road and I'm sorry. You know, issue an apology to those businesses that you went and stole from. That's what you should be trying to write, an apology letter. Not coming on Mall Road talking foolishness. So Cece says, call them out, Sandy. Name and shame them. Imagine people work hard for their things to have pesky thieves come and rob them. Yep. And that's exactly it. They must have just woke up with nothing else to do, apparently. They must not have jobs to go to. They must not be like the rest of us trying to hustle an honest dollar to make sure the bills remain paid. In fact, they would have been better off trying to run a Blossom Circle than this. Karen says their behavior is what's bringing them down as Caymanians. Now we're all going to be watched by these shops like thieves. Yes, Cece, giving Caymanians a bad name. Buenos dias, Elizabeth. Vicky says Cayman have too much driftwood people. Well, Vicky, the term driftwood implies that they've drifted in from somewhere else. But let us widen the definition of driftwood to, maybe we need to change that term. And I know that term became very popular some years back when Aussie used it to describe someone who had been imported in. It's a very derogatory term, in fact. What I would call them are riffraffs, because they're our own people, right? So they're not driftwood. They haven't come in from anywhere else. They are just riffraffs, criminals, no good, thieves. Those would be more appropriate terms to describe, you know, who and what these individuals are. Like I said, I don't know who they are. And maybe their parents taught them better and they just don't care now that they're adults. But it's shameful. It really is shameful. Oh, but wait, it's Louie's birthday today? Louie, big up yourself, man. Happy birthday. Did I miss the memo? Exactly, Cece. Return the items, apologize, and then the courts are still going to deal with you. Donovan from New York. Buenos dias, Donovan. How is it, New York? What's the temperature like? I think it's getting chilly in your neck of the woods. So we've wasted enough time this morning on those riffraffs, but I just wanted to update you guys to say that they have been now arrested. The police had names, you know. This is what puzzles me about this whole thing. The police had names of these individuals, at least one of them, but no arrests were made before the CMR article. Now, on another note, can we say congratulations to some Caymanians who are making us proud and who are doing well for themselves? So big shout out to this young lady. Her name is Tishana Ebanks. She has now received articles at Augier. I love her eyes. She's got the most beautiful eyes. So Tishana, I don't know who this young lady is either, but I'm proud of her nonetheless. It's people like this that make us proud to be Caymanians, working hard, recognizing the importance of doing the right thing. And so hats off to this beautiful young lady. She was working, I think she worked at SEMA at one point, and she was also working at another law firm before she decided to go to law school. She was actually previously worked with a large international firm. It doesn't say law firm, just this large international firm on Ireland as a vice president. And she specialized in liquidation services. So good for her. Dealing with hedge funds, private equity funds, and the like. And she went to law school and completed her degree in 2016. And then in 2019, she did her postgraduate diploma in legal practice with distinction from Oxford Brookes University. So hats off to her. She won the O.L. Panton Memorial Prize for Best Performance over the professional practice course, and the Attorney General's Trophy for Best Performance in the qualifying examination. So very good. And now she's been giving articles. And of course, we know that in order to become an attorney at law in the Cayman Islands, somebody's got to give you articles. And articles are basically like a training contract. Without articles, you can have all the degrees in the world in law. You're never going to become a lawyer in this jurisdiction, because that's the process, folks. Now, I want you guys to pay attention, because next week, Thursday, when Alric Lindsay comes on the show, he is going to be talking about the legal, it's no longer the legal practitioners bill, it's now the legal services bill, and what potential implications that could have on the legal profession. So mark your calendars, folks, for next week, Thursday, for us to have that discussion. I think it's going to be quite interesting to learn a little bit more about that. And there are attorneys who are happy about this, and there's a lot of attorneys who claim that this is not something that will be incredibly beneficial to Caymanians. So we'll get the lowdown on what their opinions are and why they have those particular opinions. So well done to Shana Ebanks. Keep up the good work. Yes, Louis, everybody is sending you some birthday wishes. Thank you so much for the reminder, Karen, about the birthday song. Louis, happy birthday, my friend.
Oh, yo, ho, happy birthday, yo, ho, happy birthday, yo, ho, happy birthday to you.
Yes, happy birthday to you. Louis says, we don't lose sleep over stupidness. Live the life you love that shines positivity in our community. Everything else is on blast. Thank you. And I hope that you enjoy your birthday. So we've got Darwin joining us on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Darwin. And Darwin, I'm not sure what this means. Family, you got to help me out here. What is that? 39 degrees with rain. Woo! That sounds like a chilly morning in New York. Yikes. 39 degrees already, folks. And it's only October. So whip out your jackets if you're in New York, because it sounds like it's going to be a cold one. So what else has been going on a Fab Friday? America is inching closer to Election Day. You know, the one interesting thing about how the Americans vote is they don't all go out on a single day. So they have Election Day, which is in November. I'll get the date. But there are people who they're already lining up. There's like long lines at the polls already. They have a lot of people. Millions of people live in America, right? So they have been going to the polls quite early and getting themselves all sorted out with getting voted. There are people who are doing postal ballots, and they're getting voted. They're voting as well. So we'll see. I don't fully understand the American system in terms of electoral college. I'll be honest with you. I lived in America for 15 years, and it still puzzles me. But, you know, I think that certain states have to be won in terms of the popular vote. It's not the overall popular vote, but there are certain states that are critical to the electoral college. because, those are like stronghold states that have more electoral college members. One day we'll have to get an American to try to break it down for us because it is very different. Marshall says November the 3rd. That's next week. Why was I thinking you guys had more time? That is literally next week, Tuesday. So by Wednesday morning, we'll probably know who the new or not new president of the United States will be. So Louis says his recipe to looking good. We don't know how old you are, Louis. But Louis says his secret is a bowl of oats for breakfast and a portion control all meals that follow. # plant medicine. Louis, I'm going to take my hats off to you because I wish I could eat more oats, but I find it very challenging to eat oats. Although, having said that, I will gladly eat a muesli mix of, so that has like some oats and muesli and fresh fruits. I can actually eat it raw if it's been soaked overnight. And you know who makes a really good one? There's a little coffee shop at the Ritz. They do a good one. And whenever I eat that, it'll fill me up like right until lunch. Like I don't feel like I'm getting hungry before lunchtime or anything. It is very filling. And if I had more money, I'd probably go there every morning and get one of those because they're really, really good. So I like that plant-based medicine. I think that, listen, none of us can probably eat a fully plant-based plant-based diet all the time, perhaps. But even if you follow the 80-20 rule, right now I'm nowhere near that, but that's the goal, is to inch ever so closer to the 80-20 rules. The 80% kind of plants and vegetables, like anything that you can grow is plant-based. And I'm going to try to invite someone from overseas to come and talk about the importance of healthy living and a good plant-based diet. These are the things that we can all do better with, our diets. So Lily of the Valley says, keep up your good work and have a blessed day. Thank you so much, my dear. We're keeping an eye on some developments in terms of we are somebody just sent me something. I've got to share this with you. This is kind of funny, actually. So since we're talking about diets and the like, right? I want to share something with you guys because this is really, really funny. So someone sent me this. Let me just let me show you this picture that somebody just sent me. This is hilarious. Since we're talking about trying to eat healthier and the whole 9 yards, let's have a little Friday humor here. So this is Sarah. She is 45 years old. She has 2 children. She has never exercised a day in her life, yet she eats anything she wants and stays up until 3 a.m. drinking beer. What's her secret? No secret. Sarah is the one in the upper right corner of the picture. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. This is so funny. I really had to share that with you guys because that really is funny. So all of us, of course, are focusing on this young lady in the front who she may not exercise either, to be honest. She might just be young and have the benefit of some good genes for right now. But it says, it's describing the person who's in the background, and we're all, of course, focusing on the center of the picture here, which I don't know what her name is, but she's not Sarah. cheeky person that sent that one to me. A lot of us are in Sarah's boat, so. Louis had a good birthday laugh. Evelyn says that was funny. Yes, Beulah, that was a good one. Evelyn said she was about to say that was a big fat lie. You see, perception, folks, is a hell of a thing, right? So we were all focused on the person in the foreground thinking, wow, she looks amazing. And she does all of those things that are bad for her, drinking beer till 3 o'clock in the morning, but yet she looks like the picture of health. Louis, thank you so much for the advice about fiber. I agree with you. Sue says, sorry, Sandy. I want to say how shocked my husband and I are in Foster's Cayman Bay. Thought we were in the Philippines. So many of their staff are Filipino. They have their own village here. Soon, there isn't right. Oh, soon. This isn't right. We have too many Caymanians who can do this work. This is what I'm going to say about this, Sue. I understand your concerns and I understand your sentiment. But from the perspective of an employer, I want to know, and perhaps one day we can invite Woody because he's always a person who's willing to have a conversation. I would like to know why he's hiring them over Caymanians. Could it be that Caymanians are not all that interested in working as a cashier, stock people? I mean, I don't know what other positions. I don't know. I would have to ask the question because I do know that there are certain jobs that Caymanians don't really gravitate towards. You know, it is what it is. And if they don't gravitate towards those jobs and other people apply for them and want to take them up, what are you going to tell a company to do? Not hire anybody? We can't force Caymanians to want to work in certain industries, right? So next week, I'm actually going to be talking about the hotel industry and what's happening during COVID because a number of persons have reached out to me about some of the hotels letting Caymanians go and either keeping their work permit staff or bringing them back in from overseas. And I've got some names. I'm just trying to suss out a little bit more information before I have anything to say about this. I don't know how widespread this is. I don't know how many persons it's impacting, but we're on it, is what I want to tell you. Because someone else messaged me this morning saying, hey, Sandy, can you do a show on this, please? So stay tuned. Irvin says cheap labor and they are willing to work the night shift. And I must admit, there are certain businesses that you do need to have that degree of flexibility. And so if they're willing to work it and other people are not, what are you going to do? Right? So let's find out. I'm actually going to speak to Woody about this. Well, there are a lot of people that are making minimum wages. I mean, even, retail, I think, is one of those positions that you seldom see people making a whole lot of money as retail sales clerk. They're normally on the spectrum of minimum wage, maybe with a commission. Grocery stores are not the type of environments that you're going to make a commission necessarily. So, yeah, they might be making minimum wage or a little bit above minimum wage. Now, having said that, I know a Filipino guy that works at Foster's who is the cake decorator. And that takes a certain amount of experience and skill set. And to be honest, he is amazing at decorating cakes. And we always get him to do like my daughter's birthday cakes. There are other people who can do just as good of a job, but what they charge for the same cake I'm just like, no, I ain't got $500 for cake. So we'll explore. Maybe Woody will come on and have this conversation. I've always found, I must say, I really like Woody, and I have always found him to be just honest and straightforward. You know, they're obviously running a business. So there are some implications to that we may not be fully cognizant of or fully aware of. I'm a business owner, so sometimes I wear both hats when I think about the situation. I'm all for Caymanians getting jobs that they're qualified for, that they want to get, and that they can do. And if they have all the soft skills necessary for employers, they show up to work and they do all of those things. But also, as someone who owns a small business, I can tell you that the things that I dread the most is having to hire other people. And I'm in the retail space. And yes, we can only afford to pay minimum wage because you're not really making that much money in retail. And I have had my fair share of bad experiences with Caymanians. I have had Caymanians who show up to work late. Even when they're supposed to be opening my store, customers are there like messaging me, "Oh, Miss Sandy, where are you? Nobody's at the store." And I'm like, Or if nobody's there, I know when the alarm goes off, so I know exactly when you got there, regardless. The timer messages me, so you can't lie about it. I've had Caymanians, every time there's drama, "Oh my gosh, I've got to take off from work. Something has happened to my husband. Something has happened to my great aunt 5 times removed by my uncle's second cousin, third sister." It's like, really? I'm trying to run a business here. And I get that it's boring. And I get that, you know, especially if you're a small retail store, sometimes there's not a whole lot to do. People don't take the initiative to do any filing. They don't take the initiative to keep the place clean. They're making it dirtier than it was if they weren't there. So I got to be honest with you. One of my, as a small business owner, one of the things that I try to do is I keep my retail business now. We've given up our retail space. So I save myself rent every month. We have another space, but it's not being used for retail. And with that, I don't have to worry about, okay, they're not giving customers the right information. They're unmotivated. Somebody walks in the door. They're not greeting them. I mean, I could go through, listen, as a small business owner, I can tell you some horror stories. And so at the end of the day, I see somebody keep trying to call me, by the way, and it makes me wonder if this is an urgent call. You know what, guys, let's take a All right, folks. So, yes, I mean, there's, sometimes it makes sense. And I mean, COVID was kind of the perfect example of how you've got to adjust your business model. It makes sense to not have a retail space necessarily, and perhaps just do things by delivery, contactless delivery. And, I can kind of manage that with my husband. We are small business owners. And we make it work. The second I take on staff, there's this added element of having to micromanage someone like a baby. And I don't want to have to do that. I'm not in the babysitting business. So I also know the frustrations from being a business owner that a lot of times, if you're not a business owner, people don't think about. So Sue, I appreciate your concerns. She says that Countryside isn't as bad, but she'd like Woody to maybe explain why Cayman Bay has so many. Well, we can ask the question. Barbara says I need to stop paying people in US dollar. Is that a thing? I mean, what? I'm not sure why it matters, but why would that matter? If you pay them in US or CI. I remember when I was in the workforce, trying to think for the law firm that I worked at, did you have an option? I think you could get paid in US because some people were putting it in a US account. So they'd pay you, I guess, the equivalent if it was a US account. But what difference does it make if someone's paying in US or CI? I mean, if you're a Caymanian and the Caymanian says, I want to get paid in CI dollars, I'm sure they're going to pay them in CI dollars, right? So Ramsey says that he agrees with me. Most Caymanians really don't want the shelf packer jobs, or they quit quite easily because the job is not suitable any longer to them. So why not accept the Filipinos who are delighted to do the same job and loving it dearly? Suzette wants to know, where's my business? Well, right now I'm actually completely mobile. So the reason why I wanted to take that call is I was kind of wondering who that could be. And in fact, it's an older gentleman who's coming on board as a new client. And so he kept calling. And I tell you what, part of what I do is related to, it's like streaming content. So let's give Roki a shout out here. Let me do a shameless plug while I'm at it. So I have a lot of clients who are elderly. Not a lot, but I have some clients who are elderly. And they don't always understand certain things. And so I go out of my way to really assist them as much as I can. You know, so he was just calling me to tell me that his internet was being installed this morning, because I said to him, let me know once that's done and then I can come see you and get you all sorted out otherwise. So shout out to Flo. Can I tell you, Flo has been stepping up their game recently. They have, I've been working closely with some of their team members. And, you know, anytime I give them a referral, they've really been on it. And so I've noticed that sometimes people on Facebook will mention, oh, they're having a problem with like Flow or whatever. And I feel like now I can reach out to their team, you know, their customer service manager, say, hey, I saw this message. Can you reach out to this individual? And they're very much on the ball. So I think, you know, competition's a good thing. And they are starting to step it up. And I've been impressed. So literally, I referred this guy to them, I want to say late on Monday or Tuesday. And already they're out to him today to install new internet for him. So yeah, I'm impressed. Keep it up, Flo. You know, make me happy and I'm going to tell the world about it. Sue is also offended that they're not speaking English. Sue, one day, maybe we will invite some members of the Filipino community to come on the show and to get their perspective. Because I think this is a discussion that we need to have. And you know what? I have been a foreigner in another man's country. So I know what it feels like to be different. I know what it feels like to have a different accent. Although I went there as a child, that was tough because children will tell you, what language are you speaking? We do not understand you. You're not speaking proper English or whatever. And here I am with my little Caymanian accent. I'm like, what do you mean? I don't know what that is. And they're like, we don't understand what you're saying. And trust me, as a child, you very quickly learn to adjust. And if that means adjusting your accent or how you speak or whatever, you better get on the ball. So I also understand the flip side of this coin of having to live in someone else's country, work in somebody else's country, and, you know, be a visitor in their country. And I think that, as Carol is saying rightfully here, this is a worldwide issue. The UK, that's one of the reasons that they were saying a lot of the average people wanted to pull out of the EU because they felt like that was bringing in an influx of people from all over the world. Yes, absolutely. In the US, they have the same issue with not just Mexicans, but of course, we always think of Mexicans in California with the fruit and farming industry. Carol says that some of these persons are willing to work multiple jobs. They're young. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into this discussion. So why don't we have a chat about this? Maybe one morning next week, we will schedule this discussion. Maybe I can get Mr. Woody on. Maybe I can get some other employers on. And we'll see. Right? So Barbara is saying that, she is a small business owner and she knows exactly what I'm talking about. There's certain businesses that you have primarily foreign staff because Caymanians do not want to work in that industry. And then Kizzy says, then you have the flip situation with employers who fire you for stuff that you do in your own time. Let's talk about some of that. Let's pick a show day and we'll talk about some employer issues. And why don't we have it almost like as a roundtable discussion? We'll invite some people on. Maybe we can speak to Woody as an owner of a fairly large-sized company. Maybe someone from government will want to come on. It's hard to get government people on. And see, what their experiences have been. So but I'll chase that up. You guys leave it with me and I'll facilitate us having that discourse. Lots of issues to talk about, folks. There is definitely no shortage of issues. And we'll talk about why it irks people when people speak in their native tongue, when they're in an English-speaking country. I get it to a certain point, but I also do understand why people will speak to each other in their own language as well. But I also understand why people are insulted by that. We'll talk about this because I've got a lot of juices flowing in my head, lots of ideas. So on the political front, we're going to be announcing today another candidate that is ready to declare for one of the districts. And I've been having some good meetings. I'm supposed to have a meeting with a young lady today who is running for political office. And I'm delighted to sit down and speak to these individuals one-on-one because I get an idea of what they're about so that I can make an honest assessment if I don't already know them. And then I can share my thoughts with you all and we can have a discussion. I was saying to someone yesterday about perception, right? For a lot of us, perception is reality, whether it is or not. So we perceive someone to be a certain way and we think that that's who they are or how they are, or, and people are very complicated creatures. So I know that way before CMR, like I said, I've been a business owner for some 17 years now. And sometimes I would have people walk up to me like after a class, right? After they attended the class session, they're like, oh my gosh, Miss Sandy, you're such a nice person and you're so this and you're so that. But every time I would see you out, I would be like scared to say hi because you looked really strict and like you were a no nonsense person and like you weren't approachable even. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, I was scared to talk to you. And I kind of chuckled. I'm like, why would people be afraid to talk to me? And I think it's just because when people don't know you and they see you and you're out and about, you're about your business. You know, if I'm at the grocery store, I'm like focused on picking up my groceries, putting them in the basket, paying for my groceries. So I might not even notice, like I might have on blinders and not even necessarily notice who's around me. I think now I'm more conscious of the people that are around me because everywhere I go, people are like, oh, I want you to look into this issue. Or I want you to do that. So I'm much more perceptive now of the individuals in my space than I used to be. But it's not that I'm any more friendly now or any less friendly or whatever. But people had that perception. They were always like, I didn't know if you were approachable, or, you know, now that I've gotten to know you, even during just teaching a class, I see that you're a warm person. You have this knowledge, but at the same time, you're willing to share it with people. You're understanding, you're this, you're that. And so people can misinterpret who you are based on they get like a snippet of seeing someone. They think they know you. That's what I love about this show, is that this show allows me to talk about all sorts of different things. You know, I can talk about a little bit about my family. I'm actually a very private person, believe it or not. My husband is even more private than I am. So you'll never see him like posting stuff on social media. He doesn't constantly update his social media pages or anything, sharing things. That's just not his style. I'm a little bit more into like sharing experiences and photos and that sort of thing. But this format gives me the opportunity to engage with you guys. And so many of you who I didn't know on a more personal level, as a result of just CMR, you have access to me on WhatsApp, you message me, you send me jokes all the time. You know, I get a little bit more insight into your personality and vice versa. So I think it's a great opportunity for that. So thank you so much for allowing me into your lives and into your space. And, you know, no one is perfect. We all have elements of our personality. Good morning, Gina, that, you know, we may not like, or people might not like about us. Like I tell people, I'm not in the business of trying to find new friends. At my age, I'm good. I've got enough friends. But yeah, people like to make judgments about you. Like they see you and they assume all these different things about you, not really knowing you at all. So I understand, as someone who has been in the space of training as a professional trainer for many, many years, I have done more than my fair share of research on behavior, how people think, how people interact with each other. And so I get a lot of it from that perspective. That's why a lot of times I don't even take stuff personal. You know, when people are like, oh, well, Sandra is this, and people come and tell me, I'm like, and so what? They're entitled to their opinion, folks. I don't have to like their opinion. I don't have to agree with it. Their opinion doesn't have to be the truth, even. It doesn't really matter. And so sometimes we take on certain things that, you know, we don't need to take on. Just like leave it. Don't worry about it. Leave it right where it is. That sort of thing. Yeah. It's Feel Good Friday, folks. We're not going to stress ourselves out too much today, but I agree, Miss Sue, that these topics are things that need to be discussed. I think that we all have prejudices about something or another, or about certain people. And pretending like those prejudices don't exist isn't really the way to go. We just have to address them and maybe be open to understanding a slightly different perspective. You know, I'm trying to think about some of my own prejudices. I have a prejudice against people who I think are kind of stupid. And I don't mean stupid in the sense that they have a problem where they can't learn. It's just like people who don't use common sense. I have a prejudice towards those people. Like, in other words, when I say prejudice, like, I have no patience for those people. I'm just like, you know? So that's a prejudice. And maybe I might sometimes make assumptions about people and their capacity to engage at that level when I shouldn't. I should give them the benefit of the doubt. And so not judging people too quickly, I think, is something else that we could all really learn from. You know, we are people. We're human beings. We're flawed at our core. Nobody's perfect. And we never want to give people the perception in this program that we're here about perfection and we're trying to pretend to be perfect. Oh no, we are far from it. Will we call people out for their bad behavior? Hell yes. Remember, there was a young lady, speaking of calling people out, there was a young lady some months back. I can't even remember. Well, this is before COVID, but I feel like it was this year, where she was talking about having an attraction, a sexual attraction towards little boys. And I think she mentioned like a 12-year-old or a 9-year-old, something disgusting and just utterly ridiculous, right? She is at least in her 20s. She's come from a relatively privileged background. One parent is a lawyer. The other parent is a pilot and a business owner, owns a real estate company. And so I must say that personally, I have greater expectations of people in life who have been given more, and they should know better and they should be doing better with their lives. Like, when you've been given every opportunity in life, right? Your parents are able to send you through private schools and they have made, I'm sure, sacrifices to some extent, but you know, they maybe financially, they don't have to worry. You've had everything that you've wanted in life. At 16, your first car is a Benz. Not like me, you're at 20 something and you have to purchase your own first car, and it is a second or third hand Ford Escort that when you pull the key out, it would still keep running. That was the funniest car. But yeah, 420 cheese. I don't know what's wrong with this girl. She seems like she might have some mental health issues, to be honest. But she made this comment in this video on Instagram about how she likes little boys because she can control them. And it was profanity laced and talking about her fetishes and whatever. So we shared it, or reshared it, because she shared it, and said, this was an Instagram live, and this is actually disgusting. This is just not cool, you know? I don't find this funny. I don't know if she was trying to be funny. She seems to want to be engaged in like this gangster lifestyle when she didn't grow up in that environment. So we called her out. Her parents didn't appreciate it. Oh no, you know, she's a good kid, but this and that, and blah, blah, blah. All these excuses for her ridiculous behavior. And I said, okay, let's assume that your daughter just made a mistake. And she had a moment, she had a lapse in her sanity, because what she was saying was disgusting and stupid and disturbing, all wrapped up in one, right? Sometimes young people do things on social media that they don't quite understand the implications of. So of course her parents are like, oh, she's in law school overseas, this could potentially impact her chances, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, right. It sounds to me that instead of having this conversation with me or anybody else, you need to be having a straight up conversation with your daughter about what the hell is wrong with you. You've grown up with a silver spoon in your mouth, and here you are doing this kind of hooliganish, whatever word that could possibly be, acting like a hooligan, right? Acting like you're running the streets of LA, the worst streets of LA, like Compton or something, when you've not had that life. And we expect better of you. And, you know, maybe we need to start pulling some of your privileges. Good morning, Andy. So maybe you no longer need to have access to the credit card, or the Mercedes Benz you're driving up and down in all day, or whatever. Like, we have to be very, very careful raising children that feel like they're entitled, because sometimes we overcompensate, like, right, we didn't have this or that in our lives. And so we try to give them everything. And by giving them everything, we don't teach them the lessons along the way. Like, you respect people, you volunteer, you give back to people who are less fortunate, like all of these things. So you create little narcissistic terrors on wheels. So just the other day, someone sent me another video of this young lady. And can I tell you, she needs to get her act together. So she went and did another post on Instagram again. Maybe her parents just need to get her off of Instagram. Maybe that is the real issue. So this first video, I'm just trying to remember when this was. I kind of feel like it was early this year. But anyway, it was either late last year or early this year. So then she goes and does another Instagram video. And, you know, again, maybe this one was on Twitter. This one I think might have been, was this one Twitter or Instagram? Anyway, she's up to shenanigans again. Yeah, this one was on Twitter this time. Maybe they did take her Instagram away and now she's on Twitter. I don't know. But now she's talking about her vagina, her vajayjay, but not using that word, using another word. Meow. That one. And she thinks that it's funny to be talking about it in such a way. And I suspect it looks like now she's limited who can see that. But someone sent it to me and I actually saw it and it was disgusting. And so parents, you know, talk to your children. Even when they're adults, this is the kind of thing that really gives a bad impression. And then the parents want to blame everybody else for their children and their ridiculous behavior. Oh, well, now it's gone viral. Of course it's gone viral. Because your daughter does not know how to stop posting up these lives or videos of her saying and doing inappropriate things. And they all revolve around sexuality and sexual things that really should not be tweeted about. And if your daughter has some issues, get her professional help. If she likes 9-year-old boys or she thinks that that is funny, she needs counseling. Because it's not funny. It's a crime, in fact. And for anyone to even joke about that really disturbs me at my core. I'm like, I don't feel that as a joke. I don't care. Anyway, folks, we shall end the show on that note. I've got to jetty off to court this morning, like I said. There's a young man who's in court by the name of Darren Ebanks. Did you guys remember this case? This was a young man who went on a tirade over, was it even 24 hours? I think it was like 12 hours, where he beat everybody up, including the woman's dog. Do you guys remember this case in September? Well, he's back in court today as well. One of his victims reminded me yesterday that he would be there. Here's the story in the comment section in case you missed it. So this dude, Darren Kennedy Ebanks, he's 31 years old, nice looking Caymanian, but has some serious mental health issues. And when I say that, I don't want you guys to think that I'm diagnosing anyone. I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist, but this dude has some issues. He needs counseling. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's been diagnosed with anything, but he threw the dog up against the wall, beat up several women, beat up a guy, held one woman hostage overnight. You guys might remember this case because it was very shocking. A lot of you were like, what the hell? So he is back in court. And we'll see where this goes. So remember, he was granted bail. I think that was the one thing that most of you found to be the most disturbing. You were like, how the hell did he get bail? Well, he got bail, and he's returning to court today to see how the case will be progressing. Obviously, with cases like this, with any case, I'll be honest, it takes a long time for it to get anywhere. We will continue to monitor and to follow this case for you so that we can keep you abreast and updated of what's going on with it. I also wanted to do a quick shout out to the governor, Mr. Martin Roper. He has now been with us for 2 years already. So yesterday, the governor celebrated his 2-year anniversary with us. So congratulations to the governor. Him and his wife, Miss Izzy, I believe is her name. So he's the Queen's representative here in the Cayman Islands. And I think his wife's name is Miss Lizzie. Yes, Miss Lizzie. So he has been very active in the community. I must say that as a governor, I quite like him, to be honest. And of course, he's been here through the COVID situation. But, you know, he is always very much involved in the community. He's done things that apparently other governors have not liked. I mean, have not done, such as visiting the Lighthouse School. So I thank him for that. And so happy anniversary there, Governor. 2 years went by pretty quickly, right? So some final comments from some of you guys. Aliana says, hi, Miss Sandra. I always laugh at how we see these kids that feel like they have a social media status and even are an asset to society and no gold standard. And man, this island can break one's will to be decent. It is an issue that needs to be, is it destroy or discuss that you meant to say, Aliano? Because a new generation is born every day and our future is at stake. But hey, capitalism. Well, one day we'll delve a little bit deeper into the social media construct of how we live our lives, because I get it. Obviously, CMR is in the social media space, and I see these kids all the time. It doesn't matter who they are, rich, poor, privileged, whatever. There is an element of them wanting to clout chase. And a lot of you don't even know what that is. It's like they want to get attention on social media. So they want to get a mention. So many of them are like, can you, CMR, can you like my Twitter account or my, Instagram account or whatever? Because if we like them, then they can go brag and they get bragging rights. Oh my God, to my friends, CMR has liked my page and whatever. It's a thing. I understand it at some level. There are people who have literally become millionaires just because they have a YouTube presence and a YouTube channel. Everyone wants to be that thing right now in the realm of social media. And I think a lot of times with our young people, it's not a healthy position for them to take. And so they lose out on, really getting to know who they are. But anyway, that's another discussion for another day, my good folks. Let us leave with some positive words. Here's a good one. I don't know if this is actually this actor that has said this, but someone has placed it as a quote over his photo. So I won't make any assumptions. But the quote I love, it said, stupid is knowing the truth, seeing the truth, but still believing the lies. I couldn't say it any better. You know, every day here in this program, we do our best to try to figure out what the truth is. It's not always easy. And as they often say, it's normally somewhere in between what you think you know or the information that you have and, different sides of the story even. So we try to suss it out, but there are times that we do know the truth and we still refuse to believe it. And that is what really dictates what stupidity is in my eyes as well. So let us continue to be, as honest with ourselves, as honest with other people as we can be. And that's all that we can ask, right? Straight up, honesty. Good people, Fab Friday, TGIF. Let us get out there and try to do the best that we can, be the best that we can. Thank you so much, Carol, for the well wishes. Thank you, Miss Sue. I will update you guys next week and how we progress and what's going on. I know a lot of you are interested in what's happening with all the cases that they've thrown at me. It's been like 11 or 12 cases now in 10 years, which is an astonishing amount of cases. And one day we're going to break it down because I think you guys need to have an idea of how all of this started and why I've got a target on my back. You mightn't see it, but there's a literal target on my back when it comes to the police and the DPP's office and me. It is what it is, folks. We shall talk about it. We will start all the way back to 2009 when it started with the dog. Have a wonderful weekend, my people. Stay blessed. Don't be stressed. Go check out the haunted house, by the way. This is a joint project between, is it Rotary and Home Gas? It actually looks scary. I got to be honest with you. I feel like if I went to this haunted house, I would legit be scared. So check it out. Support them. Congratulations. We're going to be posting a picture up later on of a young lady who participated in the Miracle Brokers. There was like a trivia question and she won herself $100. So we're going to be covering that a little bit later on. So stay tuned for that. And please be safe over the weekend. No drinking and driving. The two simply don't mix. It's like oil and water. It's a bad combination. See you guys on Monday. We'll do we might actually do a special interview over the weekend. We'll put it through maybe for Saturday or Sunday. I'll let you guys know. But anyway, enjoy the rest of the weekend, good folks.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of The Cold Hard Truth. Make sure to check Facebook for showtimes and more information and the latest news at CaymanMarlRoad.com. Subscribe to our IG and Facebook pages to get the latest happenings.